Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Ann Lopez from Center for Farmworker Families. I'd like to discuss with you the 50-mile regulation. Center for Farmworker Families is committed to getting rid of the 50-mile regulation, or at the very least, modifying the regulation so that every child can complete an entire school year in one single location. We have been working on this issue for at least 8 years, and we've made some progress simply by informing the public. Every time I speak about the 50-mile regulation, people ask what it's for. I have asked Housing and Community Development that very question for years, and no one has given me an adequate response. So we continue to be committed to turning this regulation around so children have a fighting chance for a better life. The progress we've made has just begun happening after 8 years of hard work, and the public is becoming more and more informed. We have, for instance, the Housing Authority of Santa Cruz County has agreed to allow the migrants to come to the camp a month earlier in April and to stay until the end of December. And this is positive because at least the children will be able to complete one semester of the school year in one school. The other campaign we had was to send postcards, having the public send postcards to the Housing and Community Development Department requesting that this regulation be modified. Another thing we've noticed is that other legislators who have migrant camps in their district are now becoming interested in reversing the 50-mile rule, or at least modifying it. So we may ultimately have to resort to a lawsuit because this is a discriminatory practice. I don't know of any other families that are subject to this kind of a regulation. And that's where it stands now. And we would appreciate it if you would contact the Housing and Community Development Department in Sacramento and request that they alter the 50-mile regulation. There are 24 different migrant camps in the state of California. They're all state supported. And one of the characteristics they have is that the migrants themselves are subject to the 50-mile regulation, which means when they leave the camp after the growing season, they have to move at least 50 miles away if they want to return to the camp the following season. Now, this may have been a functional regulation in the 30s or 40s when the border was porous and mostly Mexican men were coming across the border to pick the crops and take care of the agricultural necessities. However, now in the age of NAFTA, entire families are migrating. Most of the units in the migrant camps are filled with families with young children. So the consequences of this regulation are that the children cannot complete an entire school year in one location. They generally arrive in May at the end of one school year, and they have to leave by the end of November, which is the beginning of another school year. So they have to go to at least 2 schools every year. Some of the parents that I have interviewed have children that go to 4 different schools in 2 countries and 2 languages every year. Now, there's almost no way anybody can be academically successful in this situation. And I work or have worked for many years at the Buena Vista Migrant Camp in Watsonville. And in the 20 years I've been visiting migrants there, there literally has not been a single high school graduation of any child that has followed the 50-mile regulation. The only ones that are able to graduate are the ones that are sent away to live with another family somewhere else where they can spend an entire school year in one school. This splits up the family, and the parents tell me that they miss their children terrifically. So it's a very sad situation. To learn more about this issue, please go to the Center for Farmworker Families website at farmworkerfamily.org.